contemplating all my life choices. That's progress though, eh? I couldn't like use my glute to like pick up my leg a couple days ago. Well, this is not the video that I wanted to make. I feel like YouTubers say that all the time. So gosh, where to begin? I'm obviously not in Chattanooga. This is Colorado. It's Friday right now. And Sunday I went to the pool, did an hour or so swim. I actually had a straight through 2000, got out, felt amazing. Literally climbed out of the pool, took 3 steps, bent down to pick up my towel, and my back started spasming, like my low back, and kind of into my left glute. So at the moment, I just thought like, okay, no problem, like little low back spasm, that's okay. I'm just gonna go home and foam roll my glutes and use the Theragun, and something's obviously just tight and it'll be fine. And then I went in the locker room to change, and it was like pretty obvious I couldn't really bend over. Then I got out to the car and like getting in the car was pretty brutal, and driving home was pretty brutal. It was kind of like slanted to one side the whole time, and like using the door, kind of just figured I would scrap the rest of the day, not do the 40-minute run I had planned, and then it would surely feel better. By Sunday afternoon, I was in a ton of pain. I really could only lay down on my bed, like on my side, sort of. Couldn't lay flat on my back, couldn't lay on my stomach. I, of course, called Amy and Meg, who were on their way back from St. George, and had a little mentee-bee to them, just about how much pain I mean, first of all, I was just in a lot of pain. And so that was making everything feel really bad, but then also starting to freak out. Like, what if this wasn't gonna get better? And what if I was not gonna be able to race Chattanooga? And I was feeling like pretty bad about it. I think just in my gut, I knew this was not something that was going to resolve quickly. It felt like too many parts of my body were involved and everything was like way too tight. I just like didn't think it was gonna all loosen up in time, but they calmed me down a little bit and said to just see how it felt the next day. So I took Advil and I was icing it and I was foam rolling, I was Theragunning, but as the day wore on, I couldn't even like kind of get in the position to get down and foam roll. And so I texted my PT and said, I doubt you have time to fit me in, but if there's any chance. And she was actually able to fit me in Monday afternoon, which was incredible. Shout out Kate Alexander. I woke up Monday and I did not feel any better. I just felt like it was hard to sleep because every time I rolled over, I was in a lot of pain. It was hard to get in and out of bed. I couldn't bend over. I feel like just everyday life things I was not able to do. Jason had to help me with everything. And I was just feeling really frustrated and sad when you train so hard for something and then face the possibility you're not going to be able to race for seemingly some like freak accident or thing that happened. And so I woke up Monday feeling really down about it and started kind of questioning whether I was going to be able to go to Chat or not. We were supposed to leave on Wednesday morning and we were going to drive there. And I just couldn't even imagine sitting in the car for that long. And so I went to see Kate on Monday afternoon, and she basically said that everything was super tight. My pelvis was out of alignment, and so my pelvis was sort of like I could feel it when I walked, my pelvis was rotating towards the left, and just she was going to try to kind of get it back in place. She did some dry needling. It was my left glute and the right side of my spine were really tight, and so she dry needled in a whole bunch of places. She found out that my left hip flexor was super, super tight. She sort of felt like that was kind of the culprit here in all of this, and just a perfect storm that when I bent over things just pulled in the wrong way and ended up in this position. So I asked whether she thought I should go to Chat or not. And she kind of said, you know, usually people come to me saying I have to go to this race and how do I get there? And she says, well, like, I can't promise it won't be painful, but we'll do our best type of thing. She said, basically, if this is a race you had to do, like if this was world champs or you felt like you had to do this race, I would say, like, let's just do our best to get you to the start line. But even, you know, driving there, she also didn't think would be a good idea. And I was just really concerned that even if I made it there, I would, if it happened again, then I would be all the way in Tennessee. And if it happened during the race, like, just, I didn't want to be like pulled off the course or have to go to medical. And I just felt like, I felt like it wasn't even really a choice that I had to make, more than it was like a choice that had already been made for me, or a decision that had already been made for me, just based on the very limited mobility I had, right? So forget about swim, bike, run. I couldn't bend over and put my shoes on. I couldn't, you know, sit down. Obviously, it's Friday now and things have improved quite a bit, but they have not improved all the way by a long shot. And so ultimately, I made the decision not to go to Chattanooga. Obviously, I'm here in Colorado. I'm super bummed about that. I feel really frustrated because I worked really, really hard in this training block and things were going really well and I was totally uninjured until about 3 weeks ago. And then I had that running injury scare, and then I got this really bad blister that had me out from running for a few days. And then this happened. And it's just really hard when you feel like you've worked so hard and then you can't go kind of to the celebration, which is race day, and put it all out there and see how your training came together. I certainly don't feel like these months of training were a waste. I mean, I enjoy the lifestyle of training for triathlon. There's nothing else I'd rather be doing, but it's still hard not to be able to see like what it could have all come together as on the day. So definitely feeling sad. But I also ultimately feel like I made the right decision. I would say I'm about like, I don't know, 67% better today. I feel like there's been progress. It's been really slow. And so, yeah, I feel like there are a lot of takeaways from this. And for me, I think I'll get into that in a later video, but I think one of the biggest takeaways is renewing a real commitment to strength training. I think like many triathletes, that's the kind of thing that always falls to the bottom of the list of priorities, just because I think like, well, it's not swim, bike, run. And so I'm not as dedicated to my strength training as I am to some other things. I think I have a pretty weak core. I know I have weak glutes. And so that all could have contributed to this, obviously. Yeah, I think really like focusing on that, but just doing everything I can, you know, really committing to always foam rolling and mobility and stretching, stuff that I really am not good about. And so that's kind of my lesson learned right now for this. So I'm sure you're wondering what is next for me. And actually, I do have some planned changes to some of my goals and to some of what my season's going to look like, things that I have planned on changing even before all of this happened. So I'm gonna fill you in on that in the next video. I wanted to update you all. Thank you so much for following along. Thank you to everyone that has reached out and encouraged me on this journey. This won't be the last 70.3 for me. So yeah, I just appreciate everything, and that's the update. That's all I needed to say. On to the next thing.